the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Hey, check out my new tag team, baby, Monte and the Pharaoh.
Hey, Jimmy, don't forget to tell them about Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Well, you know what, I would, but you already did it.
It's Monte and the Pharaoh.
With Monte and Pharaoh.
The Monte and Pharaoh Show. Monte and Pharaoh, bro.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Monte and the Pharaoh.
The Monte and Pharaoh Show.
And you're watching the Monte and Pharaoh Show.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
With Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
It's Monte and the Pharaoh.
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 Monte and Pharaoh. It's Monte and the Pharaoh.
And Monte and the Pharaoh. Oh, is it Monte and the Pharaoh?
Monte and Pharaoh.
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show.
The Monte and the Pharaoh. To the Monte and the Pharaoh Show. Next. And it's Monte and the Pharaoh, baby.
Watching Monte and the Pharaoh.
With Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Oh, what a run.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Monte and the Pharaoh.
Hey, cut the fucking music. When you want the best in professional wrestling, Long Island, there's only one place you're going to get it, right here.
Monte and the Pharaoh. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best. That, my friends, is just incredible. Monte and the Pharaoh.
You've got the future Hall of Famer, that rocker, Marty Jannetty, and MJ in the house, and I'm sitting here with two more future Hall of Famers, Monte and the Pharaoh. We're doing that stuff, and we're gonna rock it.
Straight to the top. We're living this life, not just dreaming it, we're doing it for real. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to live out that way.
Welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast at our new home, Indie Music TV, here out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. Show number 2, Pharaoh.
2? What's happening?
That's what you got to say?
Yeah, 2.
2?
Well, we're not going to have a moment of silence for Ray and Black getting thrown off the building over at headquarters?
Oh, my
Jeez,
God.
boy, you're not sensitive this week. What's going on?
At the board is our own
Hey.
Luke. I am not your father. What's up?
How we doing, boys?
We're still on the Star Wars
Luke!
thing. Oh, my God.
Tell people about yourself. I know we covered it last week, but I think we had to cut it. So fill me in. Where's your training from?
My training is from the great Hofstra University, located in the beautiful Hempstead, Long Island.
Who's the most famous person from Hofstra, Luke?
I don't know. I think Bernie Madoff went there, actually. I'm not
Bernie
sure.
Madoff?
Bernie Madoff.
He was at Hofstra?
He's no Wayne Corbett.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. That's a possibility.
I think you're making up shit, man.
Bernie Madoff.
Monte the Pharaoh would like to thank our theme song band, Aqua Cherry, Straight to the Top. You could also catch their songs, Yes, Yes, Forever, Seasons, on Spotify, iTunes, Reverb Nation, or where music is sold. And our outro is done other than from Wisteria Hall, you and your partner, Bart Griggs.
That's right.
Right, and Wisteria Halls has songs like In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation.
We have a song called Reverb Nation? Oh, those are the things you can
Those
find
are the
us
things
on.
you can find you on.
Okay.
You got
Thank
jokes today, huh? You feeling good today?
Yeah, I feel all right.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Monte the Pharaoh could be seen on YouTube, Facebook Live on the Monte the Pharaoh page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, Monte and the Pharaoh, RTF Sports Network on Fridays from 6 to 7 p.m. drive time, their lock-in show, and then Channel 115 every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 p.m., the reduced version.
Yeah, reduced.
And our guest will be on that.
Yeah, the
that we'll be
Spiffy
introducing soon. Will be on that show. And for the early risers on Saturday from 6:30 a.m. to 7, or is it 6 a.m. to 7? I think I might have wrote that down wrong.
It's 6 to 6:30.
Okay.
Isn't that when I get up?
Can you start correcting me
Or is
or
that
what?
when I go to sleep? I don't know.
Listen,
It's
before we
early.
get to
Frosted Flakes.
our esteemed guest,
Esteemed.
Jimmy and I would like to take a moment and show respect to the people who have lost their lives and the people who are on the front lines during this time. to thank those people? Maybe we should take off the hat and sunglasses. What do you think? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Monte the Pharaoh like to thank last week's guest, Mr. Jim Dowse. I was calling him Doss the whole time.
He was saying.
But again, you can't really
nobody
blame.
gets his name right. That's how
it's
he wound
very
up.
difficult.
It started with all of that. It's all the fault that nobody got his name right. That's how he wound up with
If
those
you
front
read
row
D-
tickets.
if you
That's how
read-
Nancy.
If you read D-A-U-S,
Yeah.
how would you pronounce that?
Dow.
Dow?
Yeah, I'm weird. Don't go by me. For some reason, I look at that and I think the S is silent and there's some sort of European something or other going on there. I don't know.
So, Monte the Pharaoh is our new home, Indie Music TV, and we would not have a live guest until we had this gentleman in house. So if he was never coming in, there would never be a live guest for the rest of the
Wow, it's
Monte
a
the
good thing
Pharaoh.
he freaking came down.
Thank God.
Was this in the contract? Boy, he's difficult.
I want to introduce our guest, Mr. Andrew Anderson, star of The Wrestler, one of my favorite movies, okay, in my top 10. I was telling Andrew earlier
10?
while you were late.
I think it's in your top 2.
Yeah,
Really? It's not. I think it's in your top 2.
it's close.
It's got to be. You
But
know
anyway,
every line in the movie.
I was well. There's a lot.
You
of good
know
lines.
every line
But I was telling Andrew, I know all his scenes too.
No,
and
I know you do.
It's like him sewing is incredible. It's probably one of the greatest scenes in movie history.
I remember when you called me up, you were like, "Hey, that autograph guy's in the movie."
So while these young bucks are producing, right?
Yeah.
They
Young Bucks.
They don't,
Nice tie-in,
There you go. I
Mikey.
like that
Yeah,
little
it's
wrestling.
pretty good.
They don't know much about
Okay.
wrestling, right? But they did know that Andrew was in Gotham.
Okay.
Because they love their superhero stuff.
right.
So they felt like they were in comic book royalty, Mr. Andrew
Is that why you're
Anderson.
walking out over there?
All right, before we get to Andrew Anderson, I just want to take a quick commercial break.
Right back.
All right, Andrew Anderson,
What's
welcome,
up, guys?
brother.
I'm back. Hey, you know what?
What's up?
It was really easy to find this place. I wasn't like going down to some dirt road, skanky alley, some back roads thing. You know, I couldn't find. I had to go. Some little guy comes in. Hey, you have the password to get in. I look at this guy. I say, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Hey, you gotta go see my fucking sister down the other way." So I went to one guy to the next, and then I found this little hole of a glass door, and thank God I saw Jimmy outside smoking a cigarette, so I figured that's how I found the place. I mean, this place is beautiful, man. It's not like
It
that
is,
shithole.
right? It's this, like I said, this is a television broadcasting station.
This is beautiful. I
Not
like
some
this
dude's little hole in the wall.
And
I'm
your car
impressed.
didn't get swallowed up by a pothole?
No, listen. I just remember backing out, avoiding like stray cats. Meow, meow. I saw some bum eating Chinese food in a corner, you know. And
Was that the producer?
I might have been. I mean, I don't know, you know. So, I mean, you know what I feel like? I feel like I'm on like freaking like the Ed Sullivan show.
That's
or something
right.
over here,
You know, how do you like the new tablecloth, Andrew?
the tablecloth is classy. You're on a stage. You guys are on a stage. This is amazing.
I feel like we've arrived.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you guys
it's
have.
gracious and gracious.
I feel like I've just
And
slept with the
fallacious.
most beautiful woman in the world and
What?
actually performed at a high level.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that.
What was
High
hurry?
level.
Oh, I thought you said eye level. What was
Well,
her
listen, all the
reaction?
women that have been with me know my low standards and how bad I am. So
My God.
I feel like I've performed.
That's great.
I will give a shout out before we get to Andrew. My friend Miss Rose reached out and she said she loves the new studio.
Oh, really now?
Yeah, she did.
Look at you.
And she says she's digging you.
She's digging me?
Yeah.
Don't get jealous. Don't you
No,
start.
I'm not.
I have no intentions whatsoever.
She have-
Besides, it's Otis's. It's Otis's thing
so
now.
she has class, Jimmy.
What? Yeah.
She has class.
Absolutely.
got class. Well, you know
and
she's
I'm
got
like school
class.
on Christmas vacation, but we know where that goes. Anyway, so Andrew, got to ask you, since the whole world has completely flip-flopped and changed, what have you been up to? That much, huh?
I have my last matches were on the 6th and the 7th of March. I since this whole pandemic began. I mean, I was supposed to be in Circleville, Ohio. Had a match with Dan Severn that was canceled on March 14th. I think they postponed it till October. God, I can't even begin to tell you all the cancellations. I mean, everything, Chiller Theater, everything has been canceled. I mean, in the foreseeable future, my next appearance, I think if it goes through, is going to be the Gathering in August in Charlotte, North Carolina by Martin T-Mart Productions. And I'm doing something up in Connecticut for Scott Wilder with Greg Valentine, myself, Danny Davis, Kevin Sullivan, and who else is in it? Paul Roma, amongst others, but that's just a few of the names that are on it. And that's September 19th. And then the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion is supposed to be the 21st in Vegas. So hopefully everything's going to,
So you have things on the horizon.
I have things on the horizon, but with these days, in this age of uncertainty, as they like to say, in this age of uncertainty, this uncertain time, you don't know. You're living basically hand to mouth.
Are you feeling like a lot of extra stress, like many?
Oh yeah. When there's only so much, History Channel you can watch, so much Netflix you can watch.
Dude, I never thought I'd be sick of TV.
I'm sick of it.
I've done the total opposite. I don't watch any.
See, there you go.
There's something called news on those things. I don't watch
listen
it.
Listen to me. I find myself trying to watch.
No, thank you. I'm done.
Trying to
I'm
watch
good.
Netflix, and I'm on my phone trying to watch Netflix. And what happens? I veer my eyes up to the TV, and CNN, the manure spreader, and NBC.
He's not wearing a mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
so, Butch, by the way.
Not you.
I brought it. I brought my mask.
Making the guy put on a mask.
No, I'm just saying. I brought my mask with me. I'm listening to the rules.
Crazy.
I mean, look, I'm compliant to the rules of
Sure.
the government. I mean, for the most part.
How's your wrestling brothers handling it? I'm sure you talk to your wrestling buddies. How's the wrestling frat? Because
everybody's
traveling,
stir
wrestlers
crazy.
do all of a sudden.
Stir crazy. Every single last one of them. Everybody wants the country to open up, but at the same time, we're in performing art, a performance art. So when you're in performance art, people are like sardine canned on top of one another, and that's how the virus spreads. So we're between a rock and a hard place. I've seen people from Broadway doing interviews on social media and on TV saying that there's no doubt that performance art, whether it's sports entertainment, or acting, filming, music, it's at conventions.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that audience because people are going to shy away, first of all, because you're going to always have people who are very paranoid. Next of all, you're going to have the people that are cutting it down, sending the fear of God into people, and then how do you jump back into that world after you've been quarantined and
George, you have that guy that pushes you along. Come on.
You gotta have that. But I mean, eventually, like they're saying, wearing a mask and sitting inside, most of the people that are getting sick are the ones that are sitting inside because their body's not building up that natural immunity. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I go walking, they say go outside, walk. I don't walk with a mask on. I walk my dog through the hills, up and down the hills of my town, 2-3 miles a day, trying to keep the size, trying to keep
That's another thing. I call bullshit on you, right? I expected Andrew to come in here all shrunken up. He's like, I'm losing all my size. He comes in, he's bigger than ever.
Well, no, you know what it is? It's 350 push-ups a fucking day. Dude,
you look great, man.
I'm trying.
You look great,
man. I mean, I'm working with cables. I've never really done isometrics. I've never gotten to work with cables. To me, it was always heavyweight.
Isometrics works.
It does. Isometrics.
What the fuck do you know about isometrics?
Well, you'd be surprised. Tommy Tone over here.
Really?
That's right.
He's a wiry sort.
You'd be surprised.
I'm telling you, he's a
wiry sort.
He's wiry. He's got those wiry muscles.
Yeah, when I came in, he said, look, here comes trouble.
That's what I said. He comes trouble.
I'm not saying that you're not in shape. I just don't know. I don't see you as an isometrics type of guy.
I've always believed in that. Yeah.
Really?
Dude, you were always the power guy. You used to lift me and the weights.
Dude, Andrew puts me to shame. It's embarrassing. I just want to hide right now.
Yeah, he is looking pretty big.
He looks friggin' buff.
What was Andrew Anderson's reaction the first time he saw Vince and AEW holding live TV events with no one in the crowd?
God, that's that.
And is it working? So, what was your thoughts? And is it working?
The WWE didn't translate as well as the AEW crowds did, the AEW shows did, because the AEW had the wrestlers in the crowd. So at least you had some kind of interaction. You had some kind of noise in the background. Somebody was reacting to the spots, to the moves, to the impacts, to the punches, the kicks, and the high spots. But it kind of fell flat with the WWE. Now, when the WWE first did it, it was like watching an indie show with nobody in the crowd.
Yeah.
Or it was like watching a practice session. Like a run-through. I mean, I'm not one to critique. I mean, those guys are all doing phenomenal. I mean, they're still amazing, and everything that they do is amazing, and hats off to them, and I'm glad that they're all safe. And that's the most important thing that I hope the WWE and AEW are taking care of their performers and the wrestlers and everything, and the crew and film crew and everything. That's the most important thing. So if they're okay doing it and they're making money, that's the most important thing. But it will not translate to an indie crowd, because indie wrestling and small promotions like MLW, and I don't even know if Ring of Honor is doing empty crowd shows, but it's the sponsorship. The WWE and AEW have big money backing them up, so they can do it. They have the sponsorships. They're not losing as much as they would from attendance. But the indies, the smaller companies, they rely on attendance for the most part. So it's kind of leaves guys like me and everybody else in the indie scene kind of down. Not all the legends who've relied on the indies to make their money.
No man's
and
land.
Conventions,
right
you
now.
know. My primary income comes from conventions, from nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
People looking at me from all the movies and the films and the product endorsements that I've done. I mean, that's where my income comes in. Now, right now, every quarter I'm getting a check from residuals and royalties. Thank God I have that. So there are people that don't have that. I myself was denied unemployment because I was self-employed. So, and I'm right in the middle of disputing it. So hopefully I'll get something from the government, and we'll see what happens. But that's on a personal note. So on a personal note, yeah, it's hit everybody hard. You know, I mean, thank God I have some savings, and I managed to save my money. But so I'm not that bad off. You know, but it could always be better, you know.
We all could be better.
You got to think of the people.
I think the bigger thing, Andrew, is you just never know when the other shoe's going to fall.
You
right?
don't.
It's like, am I going to get sick? Every morning you get up, am I sick? Am I going to get sick?
Every cough, every sneeze, you wonder if this is it.
Am I going to lose my job? Yep. Is my business going to close? Can I get bookings?
Well,
can
Mike,
I do
Jimmy,
this?
the worst thing that I've found is every time the phone rings early in the morning or it rings at night, every time the phone has rang for me, it's been somebody had it and somebody died. So, and I've stopped looking at social media like I usually have, because to me, social media has become an endless obituary page. Everybody has lost somebody. Mind you, that they have lost, a lot of people have lost people from cancer, from old age, and other things too. But for the most part, it's been from COVID-19. And it's been pretty freaking intimidating. So now every time you get that cough, that tickle in your throat, you read the people that say they started out with COVID, they had a little tickling sensation in their throat, then a dry cough. You wonder when it's going to happen to you. The other
I wake up every morning taking my temperature, at night taking my temperature. Look, I want to veer into this.
That's only because you like putting the thermometer up your ass.
Yeah, a little bit. Well,
I just hope that the White Castle goes through okay. You guys worry about a lot.
I know.
You're getting me worried. I can't anymore.
Andrew, I think we've become closer over the last year, and I really find you to be an outstanding gentleman.
Oh man, listen, you guys are awesome.
This Mother's Day, for me, I read a post from you that was very heartfelt, and it was emotional for me when I read it. And you don't have to answer this, but I'd like you to share your thoughts about your aunt who lost her life in July.
Yeah, I took care of my aunt. A lot of people don't realize that. And people that are friends with me on Facebook, but I took care of my aunt for the past 7-8 years. You know, I mean, actually it was 2 aunts, but one of them died in 2013. And I just remember I kept my father's house so that I can have the 2 of them have a place to live, so that while I was alive, I would always know that they were safe and sound. My one aunt passed away of an intestinal disorder in 2013, and my Aunt Anya, who is my rock, she died at the age of 97 years old.
Now, did she raise you?
They raised me, both of them did.
Wow.
Yeah, they both had a hand. So I'm basically, whether you like me or hate me, they helped create me. So, but she passed away. She broke her leg, and she, like they say, when the elderly fall. They say it spirals downward, and it does, So, but she was in a nursing home, and it was tough. It was tough, and the hard part was, as close as her and I were, and it's going to happen. And when it does happen, it still hits you hard, and she was sick. I was in Louisiana wrestling when I got the call. They told me she was fine. I was gone for 2 days, and when I got to Louisiana after I had a great match, great night outside. I get the phone call in the hotel at 5 o'clock in the morning. Your aunt passed away. That was always tough.
How impactful was your aunt on you growing up with wrestling? How supportive?
Listen,
were we talking
my aunt bought me my first Kiss album. She bought me my first Kiss album.
She rocks.
Yep. She bought me my first
What was
Kiss
your
album.
first Kiss album?
Yeah, what was?
Kiss Destroyer.
Nice.
Oh.
1976. She bought me Kiss Destroyer,
Love
and
it.
who would believe when I told her I was really good friends with that guy on the cover right there? He's one of my best friends,
Yeah.
So it got pretty funny, So she couldn't believe that, But she kept saying it's a small world, right? How things fall into place. That's one thing she was always a big believer in fate.
Mm-hmm.
So now look at me. I'm friends with a lot of my idols that I grew up watching with Greg. I was trained by Snuka. I worked out with Tony Atlas and the Warlord. I wrestled Tony Atlas all over the country for years. I never wrestled him, but Joe Laurinaitis, the last night's Road Warrior special. Joe was one of my best friends.
Which, with all due respect, I thought I love Dark Side of the Ring.
Yep.
I thought that was flat.
I didn't see it. I actually
Personally,
didn't see
I thought it was flat.
They're talking about doing another one, a sequel to it. So
To me, look, there's a lot of dark sides of the ring,
Yeah.
right? We'll talk about it later, but Mike Hawk, he had substance abuse problems, just like anybody else.
Yep. I
don't know how dark that really is, right? It's like, hey, I don't know. To me, it was flat.
Well, you know what? I think there's going to be a follow up to it, and I think they're just basically telling the story of the Road Warriors, because basically the Road Warriors were the greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah, but if you want to watch a real Road Warrior documentary, go get the WWE DVD. It's
that was
awesome,
amazing.
Dude.
That
That
was
thing
amazing.
is awesome.
That
So
is.
what are
From
you
start to
saying that
finish.
the series is like lacking in substance, but
No, I
but
think
hot on hype?
they're
kinda?
reaching for stuff. Like, they're not stupid, right? They're saving Owen Hart for last. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a home run right there.
Yeah.
They opened up with the Benoit murders, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about Jim Doss later. But Douse,
Okay.
fix me
Dow?
later. But I just thought it was flat. The UWF, I also thought was a little flat too.
Yeah, the
It's like-
UWF was okay. It was okay. It was
about a
interesting.
promoter that snorted
It's about a
cocaine.
promoter that was messed up. Yeah, Vaseline and Coke.
The Vaseline, and he didn't like perfume and lipstick. That's what I got out of it. Congratulations.
Awesome.
That was before my time. That was right before I broke in.
All right.
Matter of fact, I was there when they did that. I was actually a fan. John Arizzi ran the that Fan Fest,
Right.
and I was there at that. I remember Rick Rude, Ric Flair, Superstar Billy Graham, Buddy Rogers. Everybody were at that, and that's actually the first time I met Jimmy Snuka. Before anything happened, I met Jimmy Snuka and a couple other guys, Metal Maniac and Ox Baker, and later on, Jimmy Snuka would walk into the bar, which. Eventually, and he said, "I want to talk to you," and I became a wrestler since then. So, that was how it happened.
The best part of it was Sunny Beach. And at
Sonny's
the
the
ending,
best.
when he goes to the gravesite, I thought was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
But,
Rick is one of the best guys. He's a very underrated wrestler, and he's I hate to say they almost forgot him, And I'm glad that somehow, some way, history has given him a little bit of its due,
Yeah. Right.
Hopefully we'll see him more in conventions.
It
I
all
talked
comes
to him.
around.
I brought him to the first. I told him, I said, come with me a few years back. I said, come with me to the big event. Just come, bring some pictures, sit next to me. He wasn't announced as a guest, but he sat there and he sold a few gimmicks. It was, and that's how he basically.
He was
came
with
out of
us
the
and
show.
Tony, and he did well.
He always does
you
well.
know,
now he'll do really good.
I was going to steal that UWF belt from him. I was trying to
Dude,
set
that thing's solid.
That thing's
is
way
nice,
too
right?
heavy, man.
Solid, man.
All right, I'm going to hit you with some wrestling questions. I just
Sure.
want to get and I want you both to weigh in on this, so, humor me.
Okay.
But before we get to this, I want to take a commercial break. Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, seen here out of Indie Music TV with our very special guest in our honor, Mr. Andrew Anderson, the enforcer, reinforcer, superstar, actor, everything I want to be and can't. All right, so back to, I want to ask you guys a tricky question and tell me your thoughts. And so Becky Lynch relinquishes the Raw Women's title on Raw this week due to being pregnant. My question to both of you, and I'd like you both to weigh in. Do you think it's irresponsible and selfish of Becky Lynch to get pregnant after all the money the WWE put behind her? She just signed a new contract in January. Did she take advantage, or was she dishonest?
I don't think she was dishonest. I wouldn't say she took advantage either. That falls under the category of shit happens, I guess, you know? That's the way. That's the only way I could put it, you know?
Shit happens.
That's the best way with me pleading the fifth on it. How's that?
Shit happens. I get
shit
my $3
happens.
million and I walk off. And
Yeah, I guess shit happened. She took the money and ran. She's going to have a kid, you know? Hell, you know, she should have at least laid down on her back and got pinned. You know, it would have been like sort of like being on a fulcrum, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, seesaw, you know? I don't know if she was showing or not. But.
I agree with the bumper sticker that he spoke of, but you got to plan this, guys. You really got to try to at least try to plan this. You're both making a fortune. You're both in demand by the company. You're two of the best workers in the company.
Yeah,
let's be honest here.
A lot better than some of the guys. Yeah,
these are two of the best in the business.
Yep.
And that's right, Indies. Those are two of the best in the business. But anyway, they are. And couldn't you just maybe plan this out? You know, I mean, if I was Vince, I bet you Vince went, and this is exactly what I think Vince went. Shit. And then he thought about it. He was like, fine, I'll back them. If they need something, I'll take care of them. But damn it! You know, I can hear them. You know, like to me,
I got to be
I'd
honest.
be frustrated.
I got to be honest with
I
you.
would understand ultimately, and I would support them. But I'd be frustrated right now if I'm their boss. I'd be a little frustrated.
I would find a loophole in the contract and let it go.
Yeah, I think that's what he should have done.
Curb with the baby
That's right.
carriage.
Listen,
and the rat
Andrew, a company puts everything they got behind you. They promote
rough.
you to the moon.
Yep.
You hold them hostage for a new contract, which she did.
Yeah.
Okay, they gave it to her.
Wasn't that sort of CM Punk?
A little bit, but
bit,
CM
right?
Punk didn't get pregnant.
No, he didn't get pregnant, but
Right? But I mean, isn't there again?
Pat Patterson wasn't around at that time.
Go to sleep. That's terrible. Oh, my God.
Pat knew how to pull out.
If I can throw in a quick question.
Sure.
I wanted to ask this when we were talking earlier. Pro wrestling moving forward during the COVID-19 situation and airing nobody in the audience, and has wrestling taken a hit?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
What say you, Mike?
There's rumors going around that Vince is selling to Fox.
Is wrestling taking a hit with
There's rumors going around that Vince is selling to Fox. He's
Really?
going to sell the company to Fox.
My worry is that wrestling in some cases may be dying a slow death.
Yeah,
I've been
like
saying that for
I said,
years.
that performance art.
Do you think there's anything? Do you think there's anything to that?
100%, 100%. And not only wrestling, I think everything from movies, movie theaters.
That's right.
You know, movie theaters are right up there with wrestling. Anything where there's attendance right now, you can't.
If Vince puts tickets on sale tomorrow for let's say Survivor Series November at Madison Square Garden, is it selling out?
Nope.
No, definitely not. Wow. Definitely not.
You really don't think so?
No.
Boy, wrestling is in trouble, Mike.
No. Because
Listen, you got.
That's not good.
I'll do one better.
Because I think it's selling out.
The beaches are opening, right?
Yeah.
Your better half was telling me the beaches are open. Are you going to the beach?
I'm not going to no fucking beach.
That's right.
I'm not going to no
You
beach.
going to go to a restaurant?
Wait,
I love the beach.
You're not going to go?
You won't catch me in a restaurant. I'm
Listen,
not going to go.
If your wife or your kids want to go to a beach, you're going to say that you're going to think about it, but you're not going to go because you have common sense in saying you're not going to the beach, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
Boy,
you're
you're
not
going
going
to feel torn when you have a public appearance and you're doing a match. You're going to be, you want
Do I want to go to the
come.
match?
You want the people to come.
See, this whole thing right now, my agent and my manager are all saying to me, if they were saying to me, matter of fact, one of them saying to me, why are you driving an hour and a half to Long Island to do a show right now? Why are you doing do a show right now?
It's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
And I said,
in the
you know
United
what?
States.
First of all, I told them, I said, hold on a second. I said, this is the Monte and the Pharaoh show. anybody who's been anybody has been on that show. Yeah. And I'm going to be on there. The first guest in that brand new, spanking gorgeous studio. Not like that old shithole. That's what I said. I actually said shithole. And I said, I'm here. So now I'm back. I'm on the Monte and the Pharaoh show.
Beautiful.
And I texted them. I said, everything's good. But, yeah, you know what? Getting back to it,
wait, before you go any further, let's talk about our producer. You like those counts he's giving you?
This
is like real production going on.
Mike Houghton, 2, 3.
Beautiful. It's
beautiful. So now you got, let's say your wife says to you or your girlfriend says to you, I want to go to the beach. Or your kids say to you, I'm going to the beach. Are you going to go? Your kids want to go to the beach. Are you going to go? Are you going to say, listen to me, my kids are young only once. Do I take them to the beach? Do I have a good time? Or is it, do you...
Well, something's going to give eventually, right? Sooner or later, we're going to want to make money. Sooner or later, you're going to have to do something.
Well, listen, I'm the one I'm a good proponent of opening up the country.
Right.
I believe opening up the country is going to... But you got to do it right. You have to do it strategically.
Are we doing it right now?
Opening up beaches right now, I don't think that's the way to do it. Opening up the boardwalk and the beaches, you know what's going to happen. First nice day 2 weeks ago when they opened the parks in Jersey, every jerk off and his asshole were in the place. And they had to actually have cops come now and stop and count the cars coming in to make sure. Are they going to do that with every beach? They're going to hire extra officers to sit there out on the boardwalks when the economy is already tanked, but they have to hire new, as they're calling what are they calling them? Guardians, social distance guardians of social distance. What are they calling them? I forgot what they call them.
I have no idea. You're in the loop, man. I have no
listen,
clue.
all I know is
watch
that
TV.
But yeah, I do. Unfortunately, that's why I don't watch fucking Netflix and I don't sleep at night.
You need to watch more Netflix.
Every time I get a cough, I think I'm fucking
By
dying.
the way, I got to tell you, this dude is up all night.
What?
You're up all night.
I'm gonna
you guys
call
are
him.
lunatics.
Yeah, we are. Look at the circles under our eyes.
Every time I call you, your voicemail's full. I'm like, I can't even leave a message. I'm like,
it is. My voicemail is full. Yes,
I see posts all night long. I'm like, when is this guy
I'm
go to bed?
up, man. I ain't fucking sleeping. Yeah, all the people at home. Yeah, you want to text me? Fucking message me on Facebook. I'm fucking up, man. You know why? My hours are all fucked up from this COVID shit.
They really
are. And then you watch the news. And then I got another one of the wrestlers. You know what the fuck I can't stand? I'm all for ribbing people on Messenger and sending them as goofy for some girl getting a 10-foot sausage up her ass. So that's funny. Send it to your friends. They send it to you. All stupid shit like that.
All right.
But one friend of mine has to fucking send me people getting legit fucking videos of people getting shot in the fucking head.
Yeah, what is that
fucking
about?
Getting fucking their head sawed off by Al Qaeda.
Hey,
why send me that shit? That shit disturbs me, and I can't fucking sleep. The other night they sent me a kid getting assassinated in Guatemala.
What about the posters who you show animal abuse? I lose my mind.
Yeah, they fucking do that too.
I'll tell you the worst post I got. Someone was making fun of my beard.
Oh wow, that's.
Oh, you're lucky.
That was upsetting to me.
But listen to me. But I'm serious, man. They send you the shit, and then I don't fucking sleep. That's why I'm up all hours.
But stop looking at that shit, man.
I realize now. Now I'm not looking at Messenger.
Dude, it's like social cocaine.
Yeah,
throw the straw in the garbage, bro.
It is. It's fucking bad. That and CNN, Fox, NBC, MSNBC is all fucking crap.
It's all BS.
So you watch that
besides,
shit.
When is it going to be safe anyway? How are they going to measure? Okay, it's safe now. We've looked at the numbers. I can sit next to you at a sporting event now. Well, who's determining this? I don't trust any of this.
Luke, a young guy like yourself, you worried about it out there?
You trust this crap?
Oh, I'm not scared of anything, boys.
Look at this guy.
When I
walked in, I walked in the place. He's full of shit. He had a beekeeper outfit on. He had a fucking hazmat suit, and he fucking somehow he managed to stretch fucking 5 condoms over each hand.
Yeah, and he slid under the board.
That was unrelated.
I don't want to know what the fuck you would do. And you had fucking splatters of ketchup and fucking mustard all over your back there.
What is that?
I don't want to know what you were doing there, young Skywalker.
All right, Andrew, I'm going to challenge you a little bit, all right?
ahead.
We were talking about Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes.
So the Jimmy Snuka, Nancy Argentina episode, which I thought was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Last time you were on the show, you said you spoke to Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy told you you didn't do it.
Yep.
After you sat and watched it, change your mind?
Jimmy didn't do it. I don't believe he did it.
Now this is a personal feeling, though. Obviously,
Jimmy looked at me in the car, and he turned around. And he did this a couple of times with me, and I know he did it with other people too. When he drank, when he drank, and he got a little high, smoked some weed. Everybody smokes weed, so he'd turn around and look at him and go, brother, do you think I killed that girl? And I would look at him, I'd be like, The first time I said no out of fear, you know, I just
Yeah,
he's
sure.
going to fucking kill me, you know. But I said no, Pop, I don't think you did it, you know. I don't think you did it.
Why do you think he asked you? I find it strange that he would bring it up at all.
Some people said to me, you know, he asked you because it must be weighing on his conscience. You know what it weighed? I think it weighed on him that he thought a lot of the boys thought he did it. You know.
Okay.
Now I've heard two different versions, and one could be true. Maybe they roughhoused. Maybe she fell, and he tried to keep her awake or something like that, or tried to get help, or what? You know, I don't know. I just know that I had a feeling, you know. Look,
I don't want to be insulting, okay?
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Snuka as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I totally take what you say as really important.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, we talked about how hyped up Dark Side of the Ring is. It
Yep.
was a little bit damaging.
It was damaging. It was damaging. It was damaging to him, to his legacy, to his current, well, his widow, Carol.
Yeah.
You know, who I was happy she was on the show that they called her, because initially she was kind of upset that she wasn't asked to do it. You know, so she called me. She said, well, did they contact you? Did they contact Jeff, meaning the Metal Maniac, who worked with Jimmy for a number of years? I said, they didn't contact me. They didn't contact Jeff. They didn't contact the other guys like Monte The Pharaoh, who worked with Jimmy a lot, you know, a promoter. Or Gino Caruso, another promoter, worked with Jimmy a lot. And they didn't contact any of them.
But do you think, like, the OJ syndrome, where you just start believing what you believe?
It's going to happen. The more you watch it, the more you're going to say
No,
he's
I'm
guilty.
talking about OJ
Yeah.
thinking he didn't kill Nicole Simpson. Is that the same thing that falls into Jimmy?
Do you know what? It for all I know, it could have been. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something happened that I don't know. I wasn't. Nobody will ever know. You know, only Jimmy and Nancy will know.
And here's what bothered me about that episode also. There's no closure.
No,
There was no
none.
closure there.
There was
You
no
came
closure.
out with nothing.
No.
You don't know if Jimmy did it.
Yeah.
You might have done it. You might not have done it. The family doesn't know whether he did it or not. You know,
Yeah.
no closure.
There
Were
was
you
no
expecting
closure.
any?
No,
I thought there was closure on the Benoit one.
there with the sister and the son. Yeah,
I think there was closure on the UWF one.
yeah, for Sunny Beach. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
sure.
was. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Are we going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're getting back with our special guest, Mr.
This is a heavy
Andrew
episode,
Anderson.
man.
Stay tuned.
It is heavy.
It is heavy. So, you know what? And I did have a lot of contact with Jimmy, which is true. You know, but then
All right, you're back on Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV, out of Ronkonkoma, New York, with our very special guest, our first guest in the new studio, and the only person we wanted
spanking
here.
brand new studio.
That's right, Mr. Andrew Anderson. So, Andrew,
Yes.
you were talking about Jimmy. You wanted to share some information or some discussions.
You
about
know, I
Tony?
mean, there's a lot of stories going out there. I mean, I've spoken to Tony Atlas, and Tony said he was there during one of the altercations with him and Nancy, and he says that he saw a side of Jimmy that Jimmy would get really hot. You know, I mean, and I've seen. Listen, I'm not gonna say Jimmy was a saint. You know, I've seen Jimmy when he drank, and when Jimmy drank, he would hold on to the edge of the bar at 3:00 in the morning. You're trying to get him out, and he'd be like, "Brother, you know who you're talking to? You're talking to the Superfly." And at that point, you were dealing with the Lord of the Jungle.
Right.
You didn't know how to get him out of the fucking bar, and you wouldn't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying?
I remember growing up when it was a little thing in the Daily News where that whole thing came down. I guess he must have attacked Argentina before the second.
Yes,
team.
and you know what? Do you want to hear what I know
Go
about that? Jimmy, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about until about 3 months ago. I had a talk with Carol right before this whole COVID thing started. When Carol called me up, his wife called me and told me that she was not contacted by Viceland to do anything, and she said to me, "Have you heard anything?" It might have even been in like December, early December, and she asked me, "Has Jimmy ever said anything to you?" And I said, "Jimmy would say." He'd say to me that I got into an argument with her, and he goes, and then the dogs came, and the dogs bit me, and then I got into a fight with the dogs, and I was like, always thinking to myself, what the fuck is he talking about? Now, I would think he was all fucked up at the time, like getting confused, or he had too much to drink with the dog. Then I found out that they sent police dogs after him. And he got into a fight.
And I think I remember he killed the dogs. I think that's.
I never heard of him killing the dogs. I heard the dogs. He took the dogs down.
But all I remember is being a wrestling fan growing up, going to my father with that article and see,
yep,
it's not fake. You see what they could really do if they want to do something.
That was your example.
That was my and I got to be honest with you. It was almost now knowing what. It's youth, right? Your mind's not thinking right. You're like Luke, right? Your shit's not spinning right. So,
what?
You're thinking how cool this is. Meanwhile, the reality of it is he beat the shit out of a girl. Cops came and he beat the shit out of dogs.
Beat the shit out of the dogs. Now, it makes you wonder. You look at that, and now when I heard all that, so now even me, I'm wondering, is it true or not? But you know what? I love Jimmy. So I can look beyond that, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, it'll always be, it's sort of like Chris Benoit's son. It's his father.
Yeah.
He's thinking of it. He's always going to be his father. You don't want to think that.
So my wife said to me, too, she goes, it's love.
It's
right?
regardless,
it's like,
unconditional. You know what I'm saying? He broke me into the business. He treated me like gold. He treated me good. And I loved him like a father. And he did a lot for me. And, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jimmy Snuka, So, some of the guys bust me. They say, "Oh, you're Jimmy's abortion." Okay, but that's okay. I'll take that.
Why not?
He's a great guy. To me, he was. And still a lot of the boys who worked him and knew about him, he was always the nicest guy on the fucking planet. In the ring, he never
lost. Loyalty
his cool.
goes a long way.
That's what it is.
Right?
It's loyalty, and like I said, none of us will ever know. Whether or not Tony Atlas knows or whatever. And the other thing too about Dark Side of Wrestling, I don't know if this is true or not, but I vaguely remember somebody telling me that the night of the Jimmy Snuka Nancy Argentina murder mystery, Eddie Gilbert, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, was also in a bad car accident that night.
The same night.
He rear-ended. He drove into the back of head-on into the back of a truck or something like that, and that was the same night. That was the same night, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and they didn't mention anything
How
about
about the honesty of Morocco saying he was going to do anything he had to do for Snuka because this was a massive paycheck.
It was
for
a
him.
massive paycheck, yep.
But it was honest.
Yep.
I mean, that's some balls just to say it, right?
But Don was always a straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? Don is always a straight shooter. He'll say he never had a filter. He'd say right out what he thought, and he wouldn't. He loved Jimmy too. Don't get me wrong. Don still loved Jimmy. But he wasn't going to lie. He was saying what he felt. That's how Don is. So.
All right, well,
how about McMahon's potential role with all the rumors that Vince covered for Jimmy and
he had a lot of money, right? They said there was a secret meeting.
Well, if you watch the After Dark thing afterwards, they were talking about it. You had Knobs and Greg on it, both my two very good friends, and they both said that Knobs said the same thing I say. Jimmy was still great. Never saw anything really like that from him, Jimmy was Jimmy. We loved him.
Right.
And then Greg, on the other hand, said that, but Vince came in with a big bag of cash. At least that's what he heard, so.
Different time, man.
Different time,
that's for sure.
So would that happen in today's world of DNA?
No.
Then we would have known the truth.
Right away.
Right away, yeah, within hours or whatever, But like I said, that was 1982, 83, or 84, whatever it was, A lot of time's passed since now and then.
It looks like I got to get your opinion. Oh, Mike, who the hell is this? This Tom Segura? Am I saying this guy's name right? This is a comedian, Tom Segura. He calls wrestling fans retards and says they're in the same category as flat earthers. So many guys that love wrestling, I think wrestling fans are fucking retards, but so many people like it. It's the stupidest shit, and I think you're the stupidest fucking tool if you're like, hey man, it's not fake. It's fucking fake, and you're a fucking idiot. They're not real fights. I'm getting annoyed. They are just... What? What kind of people? Stunt people?
Well, you know what?
This is an insult.
What is
And the
this guy's
fact
name?
that guys are like, man, did you see The Undertaker's reaction? I'm like, what? When his wife retold the story of attending a live WWE event with a friend, Segura replied, it's pathetic. You're a pathetic person. His wife admitted the show was fun, but before she could finish, he added, yeah, so is the Special Olympics. Dude, this guy's a dick.
All right, why don't we do this?
This guy's a dick.
What's this guy's name?
I don't know.
Tom Segura.
Hey, Tom Segura, you fucking asshole. Why don't you come to the Monte and Pharaoh show? We'll set up a ring over here. Get in the ring with me and see if it's fucking fake.
Yeah.
Sign a fucking waiver and let me fucking bitch slap you from here to eternity, you piece of fucking shit.
How's that feel, cannon mouth?
Got something to fucking say? I'll fucking Dr. D your ass. What do we bring him around, Dr. D?
That guy's shit a brick right now.
Who is this guy?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
He's
who
a
the fuck he
comedian.
is. Let him sign a waiver and get in the ring with me.
He's one of those clowny comedians that think they're special, and he's trying to become relevant. And it's like, you know what? You're not going to get relevant. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, before Corona, last year we were talking about your discussion of doing pro wrestling, first ever show in Cuba.
Cuba, yeah.
Clearly, this didn't happen.
Listen,
what are the plans?
April 18th was the date. Everything was set in stone. All the boys were ready. We were pulling the work visas and sports visas and getting everybody in. And then, as you know, just as we were pulling sports visas, they told us the State Department said you can't get a sports visa because wrestling's not a sports. It's not a sport. So we wound up getting in through another means by being the entertainment for the Olympic and Cuban and American Olympic cycling teams for the entertainment for them. So we were going to do this festival on April 18th, and then Kevin Sullivan and I got the letter saying that everything has to be postponed and for until July, August of 2020. And now we just a few weeks ago we talked to the Cuban consulate, and they said that it's probably more like January, December, January. You know, I can even read you. I have the letter that we wrote to the initial public, the press release for that letter for the. Let me see if I can find it over here. The press release. All right, here goes. Press release date March 13th, 2020. Rumble in Havana to be postponed. We'll reschedule August 2020. It is with great regret that we must inform you that the Rumble in Havana will have to be rescheduled due to the current outbreak of the coronavirus. This is not an easy decision. We must honor the recommendations of both the CDC and the Cuban and American embassies to keep all of our athletes and citizens safe. As disappointed as we are, public health and safety is always our number one priority. Andrew Anderson, Kevin Sullivan, and Mike Frazee have been working hard over the last 2 years to bring pro wrestling to Cuba. And want to let you know that it's just a minor setback and will most definitely be rescheduled. To our friends here in the USA, Cuba, and around the world, stay safe. Do your part. Keep you and your family safe. Thank you all for understanding in this matter, and Godspeed. So that was the press release that was released as far as that goes. But now, obviously, we know it's going to be December, January. So,
okay,
you know,
well, good things happen to people who wait, right?
And maybe we can bring have two guys come down and do some interviews in Havana.
Man, could you imagine?
You know,
bringing in.
Would they let Jimmy in?
One pro wrestler. Jimmy, can you go to Cuba?
Si, senor. What? I'm bilingual. What do you
you're
want
entertaining
from
the
me?
producer.
We got to get you one of those.
Producer thinks you're
Mike,
funny.
Mike, we got to get you one of those fedoras so you can hold a cigar in your mouth.
If we're going to Cuba, once everything settles, then I'll shave my beard.
No, leave the beard.
Do you think I kind of look like Santa?
You got a Castro sort of feel.
A little Santa.
Castro? Castor Oil.
Oh, boy.
We had Jim Dowson last week in the studio. You're very close to Kevin Sullivan, obviously. Yes. He presented you with the CAC award. Did he ever share anything with you about his relationship with Nancy?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the whole Vice thing, they kind of vilified Kevin a little bit. They said he made him sound like he was a wife beater and involved in some domestic altercations. From what I understand and from what I've seen from Kevin with the police reports and everything, it was actually Nancy who stabbed Kevin. And Nancy was the one who actually was the one with aggravated assault on Kevin. And from what I understand, Kevin actually contacted Vice about a potential lawsuit. I don't know exactly what's been going on with that, but I know that the shit sort of hit the fan with that. You know, I mean, they vilified Kevin, and Kevin is, if you know Kevin, he's hardly that character they spoke of. And I'm sure, you know, like once again, I'm sure, you know, I mean, they're trying to drum up publicity and negative publicity for the dark side and everything, which is, it is what it's going to be, I mean, it's still, I don't know how to describe it. It seems like everything they've been doing so far has been one-sided. It's they want to paint one version of the story, but they don't give all the.
It's almost unethical in some cases. 'Cause I'll tell you, on my level, watching that, they made Kevin look really bad.
They did. I called up Kevin that night. Kevin said, "I know." His wife Linda said the same thing too. That's why I think they were getting ready to fire Cannon's back. I mean, come on. I mean, I know she stabbed him. I know that there was a tumultuous relationship there. And basically what everybody has told me was Nancy Sullivan was nuts. So who knows? I mean, the way I said it when I first heard this shit, and from talking to Kevin, I mean, I hate to say it, she could have pushed fucking Benoit to the brink of insanity.
Yeah, but forgive me for even saying this. It's like for the longest time I thought he just strangled her. Mm-hmm. But when you start hearing that he broke her back,
he broke her back. That's crazy.
Like, what?
Yeah, there was something wrong with him then.
Anybody that could defend this guy in any level,
you can't defend him. What he did was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, Nancy wasn't no gem from what Kevin was telling me, but I mean, that was a really fucking thing. He killed the kid, and then also other stories said that he injected the kid with growth hormone over the years and stuff.
Something about dwarfism or something.
That the boy had it, something,
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've also heard stories that Benoit had dwarfism too, something.
He kind of looked weird. He had
like a weird face,
short
little arms and stuff like that.
A little bit.
Look, bolts.
No, just like he had that look. Like
he had that look. Yeah,
he was on.
Interesting.
I mean, I would never
like Killer Khan from Mongolia.
I would never take away his talent. He was one of the most talented workers that have ever existed. You know what I'm saying? But
yes,
that bar none. I mean, great athlete, amazing matches, unbelievable. I couldn't do even half the shit that he used to do. I mean, he was phenomenal, but it just something wasn't right there with him.
Well, speaking of that, right? You have your better half in studio. How hard is it to be around the boys when you bring your girlfriend, your wife? How difficult is this?
Fuck. Well, I don't have my girlfriend in the studio and wife in the studio. I mean, I'm fucking married, but Benoit brought his wife around the business. Kevin Sullivan had his wife in the business. I mean, he had her there. You know what I'm saying? He had her there. I mean, Kevin should have known. The way I look at it, once you have your wife there, like Macho Man. You know what I'm saying? Like Macho Man. Macho Man has his Elizabeth in, and eventually his jealousy with Elizabeth and stuff. You know what I'm saying? How would you describe that? How would you describe it?
Describe
like you have your wife in the business with the boys.
I think
knowing the boys are the way the boys.
I just think trouble. I think it's a problem. I just think it's a problem. I mean,
I could never really bring a girl around the business. I mean, I did date a girl that was in the wrestling business for a while in the 90s, and it didn't.
Did you watch the Jim Dowse interview that we had last week?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. This was my thought after.
Well, look, he brought Nancy around, but he left her. He left her with.
I think.
I don't want to look like I'm.
Honestly, having you in this week and having Jim Dowse on last week,
right?
I don't think it's that outlandish of me to summarize. It's just generalizing, but it seems to me pretty clear that Nancy Dowse was much different from the Nancy Sullivan who became part of the business, became famous, went with the boys, went traveling. You're talking, it's a big difference. She was Nancy Dowse. She was high school Nancy Dowse. She became Nancy Sullivan. She clearly changed over the years. She must have as a person. I'm not sure.
Was she married to
Jim? Yeah.
So she was Nancy Dowse,
right?
Not Nancy Sullivan.
Right.
So it wasn't a girlfriend,
right? And he got away as she got into the business.
After watching
Once
the interview,
took off, he was already gone.
After watching the interview numerous times, I felt this. She was doing a wrestling thing. She's hanging out with Sullivan. Sullivan certainly was top flight wrestler,
Oh, yeah.
built
Kevin
shithouse.
Sullivan was big
And I
time.
think maybe there comes a point where a guy just goes, you know what? I can't be jealous anymore. I
Right.
can't deal with this anymore.
Right.
Go do your thing. I got
Well,
I
he
got to
said,
get
didn't he say that? He gave her the. He said
He kind of said, "I'm holding."
He said, "I'm holding you back in your career."
I felt like what he
Felt he
said.
was in the
I
way.
felt like he was saying, "I'm holding you back," with the hopes that she would say, "No, I'm staying with you." But
Well,
instead,
maybe.
she opted the other way.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Maybe.
Don't know. I've seen guys bring girls around the business in the past. I've seen. I don't want to single out anybody or anything like that. But I've seen guys literally go in with their girlfriend into a room, leave the girl alone, and then just fucking go to the bathroom, and all the other guys flock to her and try to hit on her. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got that camaraderie. And sometimes it just fucking flies out the window when it comes to a girlfriend.
It's like insensuous. I said it before. It's like, what are you
that.
doing?
You know, I see the guys like dogs sniffing. They smell some. I hate to say, they smell pussy, and they're like they've never seen it before.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen with shit. You know, I mean, that's why I say, you know, never bring the girls around the business. I've always said that. You know, I wouldn't bring my girlfriend. I wouldn't bring my wife. I wouldn't bring my daughter around the business. My daughter has come to shows. I will say that. My oldest daughter has come to shows, but I would not bring any of them around the boys, you know, because of that reason. You know, I mean, it's just, you don't need that. You know what I'm saying? It's a recipe for disaster, as you've seen with Chris Benoit, with Jim Dowse, and then it happened to Kevin.
Yeah.
All right, and now
Del Rio and Paige.
Oh, that's another whole, you know, Macho Man, Elizabeth Luger. I mean, so many different stories you've heard shit happen to with that. Now, Alberto Del Rio, I heard
What a charmer, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Had a
man.
good week, huh, Mikey?
So it looks like our friend Del Rio reportedly
what's his real name? Jose
allegedly
A.
beating and sexually assaulting.
Was that his real name? That wasn't
Jose A. Rodriguez. What is this?
Chikawa? Chican? I don't know.
Chicano? I don't know.
He was also accused of him threatening to take her son and drop him in the middle of the road.
That's what I
somewhere.
read. That's
Dude,
where I
this is
was
one
like,
sick
wow.
fuck, huh?
I was like, what?
I know you're a big Del Rio fan, huh?
I can't stand the guy. Couldn't stand him.
I met him. He was a nice guy to me when like I said, like everybody, you know, you don't know who you're meeting. You know, I mean, I know he dated Paige, right? Or was he engaged to her or something?
Yeah, they were.
I think he beat the shit out of her in an airport,
my friend
right?
Ashley
Got himself in
Massaro.
trouble with
He
that,
dated
too.
Ashley Massaro for a while. I know that. I really don't know much about the guy. I met him at WrestleCon a couple of times, and
Speaking of Ashley, did you know Ashley?
Yeah, I know her very well.
Can you discuss her at all?
She was great. She's one of my best friends. I mean,
how did her suicide affect you?
Oh wow, that was like totally fucked up. I was on one of her last appearances with her. She called me up and said, "You're doing Chilla Theater." Anyway, I think it was me, her, and Knobs. We did Chilla Theater. Me, her, and Jerry Sags. I don't remember what, but we did it together. And
any warning signs over there?
She was depressed. I mean, she was very down about her career. Guys, she told me she was going to make a comeback. She was so frail, so she got so skinny. You know, I mean, she was very frail. I mean, I couldn't see her really taking any bumps. I mean, she was smoking a lot, cigarettes and stuff like that. I mean, just smoking like every 10 minutes at a convention, she'd be out to have another smoke, have another smoke. I mean, she was.
I must be really depressed if that's.
She was worse than you, Jimmy.
She's worse than you, Jimmy.
She was. Listen to me.
Quote of the day.
She was.
Oh my God.
She was a doll. But like once again, you never really know. I mean, I didn't talk to her every day of the week. You know, I'd see her at the shows and would hang out. Would do conventions together. Would do shows together. She managed me on a shitload of shows when she first was released from her contract.
What is it about this business? Does it ever weigh on you? I mean, you see so many wrestlers get depressed, suicide, overdosing. I mean, you ever had a demon moment where you were just like, what the hell am I doing? This business is taking me on now.
This whole COVID thing.
Okay.
That's been my demon moment. Because now, I sit and I think, am I going to come back from this? I mean, fuck. You know, I'm 50. What's going to happen? You know, how much longer? I was in the twilight of my career already, and I mean, how am I going to come back from this? It's hard to say. I mean, you want to keep yourself in shape. You want to keep hoping that it's going to come back, but is it going to come back?
Right.
And if it does come back, what capacity? Like I said, I mean, indies are not going to have the same sponsorship. So how are we going to run shows? I mean, I hear guys doing stuff like in Texas in the front of or in like the South doing stuff in empty arenas and stuff like that. What's the purpose? You're throwing your body around without a payday. You know what I'm saying? And anybody paying you to do that? I mean, to me, it's a job. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. But it's in front of an audience, whether it's 20 people or 20,000 or a pay-per-view audience of more. I mean, you just don't.
Right.
Well, let's hope for the best, right? I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for this turnaround. Look, just like a wrestler, it's happening to regular folk like ourselves too.
Oh, it's killing.
And let me just spat off before we go to commercial break too. This whole thing that the WWE let these wrestlers go. Oh, why are they? They're billionaires, and Shane McMahon makes $2 million. Here's the deal: we're all living it. If you don't make the cut, you don't make the cut.
Yeah,
this is life, brother.
Yeah, that's the way it is, right?
Right. It's like, stop the whining. And I'm sorry, if you're my son, I'm probably going to give you $2 million if I'm a millionaire. I'm sorry.
Man, they listen to me.
And I think he's worth it. The hell do I know?
Whatever.
Listen,
Shane's worth a fortune.
Shane is worth a fortune. Shane is a hell of an athlete, man.
He sure
But
is.
it's not even the point. It's like the audacity to complain that the father is taking care of his children.
I know.
It's like, hello.
You can't complain about that. I mean, it's father and son.
Can you believe Ken Griffey Sr. raised Ken Griffey Jr. to play baseball and make all that money? What a jerk. That's the whole thing. Just let the kid be. I can't anymore.
Now, speaking of baseball, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the great Andrew Anderson.
Stay tuned for Korean baseball.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here at Indie Music TV out of Ronkonkoma, New York.
In the brand new studio.
That's right, with our very special guest, Mr. Andrew Anderson. So, Pharaoh, you're up.
Well, two good things I could take out of the Corona thing, if there is two good things. Number one, he's buffed as all shit.
Yes.
Number one.
Oh, I'm
jacked up.
Number two, he decided to come out of his hibernation, thank you very much, to Long Island's #1 podcast. Thank you very much.
Broadcast. Get
well,
it right.
You see, it is a broadcast, but I'm saying podcast for a reason. Because it's all your fault this week. I decided to take a look at these other so-called wannabe broadcasts that call themselves podcasts. I saw this podcast, this steaming pile.
Is this a Pharaoh on a soapbox moment?
This was a steaming pile of inept shit. Anyway, one of the guests was Brian Pillman Jr. Yo, bro, Brian Pillman Jr. is not very kind to Kevin Sullivan. What are your thoughts on Brian Pillman Jr.?
I met Brian Pillman Jr. I thought he was very nice to me. I mean, I don't know what he thinks of Kevin and everything, but I'm cool with him. I think he's a great kid. I think he's coming along great. He looks freaking phenomenal.
I heard him on some podcast talking about he was green and he was working with Kevin, and Kevin kind of like wanted to do a whole blood and guts match, and he kind of like really put him in a bad predicament. He didn't have great things to say about Kevin.
Oh, I don't know about that. I never really spoke to Kevin about that, but all I know is that I've seen Brian work. And he's fucking pretty good for a kid.
Is he good?
No, he's good. I met him at believe it or not, at the big event in New York about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and a very gracious kid. I mean,
you think he's destined for Vince?
Oh yeah, he
sure seems like it.
He'll do something. He'll definitely do something.
He's got it.
Really?
I think he's got his father's it factor.
Yeah, he's got talent. The kid's got
but
it.
It's just not all talent, right? I mean,
True.
It's a name. He's got the name.
So you think just the name?
No, I don't think it's just. I think he definitely has the it factor.
I believe that
he's
too.
got something.
Is he a big dude?
No, he's not,
Not
big by any
necessarily,
means.
but he plays big, doesn't he?
He can move. He can move.
Dude, it's the old CM Punk thing. I know how you feel about Punk, but Punk plays big. Jericho, not the biggest guy. Jericho plays huge.
Yeah, he's average height, average size.
Yeah,
but he can move. He can do things.
Spitting image of his father.
His father wasn't huge. Yeah. His father wasn't that big. His father was shredded.
His father was a small guy.
Yeah, but he looked great.
Yeah, he looked great.
But he worked with everybody.
But he played big. He looked good.
Yeah,
sure. I
He's
agree.
a loose cannon.
Yeah,
too,
I always said his father was the prototype for what's the guy in AEW now? The guy who went from the Shield to AEW.
Who? Ambrose Moxley?
Ambrose's character, the Dean Ambrose character, the Moxley character. That was Brian Pillman back then. You know? I mean, Brian Pillman's character, and he teamed with Steve Austin.
Down about 10 notches, by the way. Yeah.
But Brian Pillman's character with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the two of them were basically the prototype to what Steve Austin would become later on. Break the glass, come run out, beat the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? And Pillman was as a babyface, Brian Pillman Sr. was the guy they kept him on mid-card for so long that they didn't realize his talent, how great he was, until he wound up teaming with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the Blondes, you know, the Hollywood Blondes, whatever they called themselves. They were fucking phenomenal.
They were.
They were holding their own against Arn and Flair and Steamboat and Dustin. I mean, there were some great matches in the early 90s with them. I mean, they were phenomenal, you know. And then Austin took it to a whole new level, and we know what happened with Pillman. But, you know, it's Pillman Jr. is just as good. He'll be just as good as the old man someday, if not better, you know.
That's a great compliment.
I think he's a great kid, you know. I mean, I don't know what happened with him and Kevin. I love Kevin like a father, you know what I'm saying? But, you know,
again, I might have misread into it. That's all. It just sounded like he wasn't.
Well, it's not like me and Kevin don't like blooding people up in the ring. You look at what we do. We nail them with the golden spike, and you know.
Well, again,
Kevin
is an older guy, right?
Yeah,
he's not going to fly around. He's got to do some cutting. You know.
Well, you know, the old Kevin Sullivan school of wrestling was you don't leave your feet. You know, so I mean. He hasn't left his feet in a long time, you know. I mean, he has bad neck, bad back, you know. So much wrong. Shoulders are really bad. So I can't see him doing any big spots anyway. He wouldn't do anything in the ring now anyway. He's 71 years old.
So I know me and Pharaoh, right? We've been envisioning from the last time you're on the show. Mm-hmm. We want to see you on NWA Power.
Yeah, man.
I'd love to be on it. You know, I was talking to Dave Marquez a couple of days ago, and, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully down the road something will happen, and before everything's said and done, maybe something will work out. You know,
how many more years you got in you?
Well, the way the COVID's going, who the hell knows? You know, I mean, I'd like to say I got a good 3, 4, maybe 5.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, you talked about people coming to the wrestling match. How about you as a wrestler? You get booked, just clear to go. How do you feel about going to an event?
Well, I'm more leery of. I want to say conventions. The conventions are where, you know, I mean, you guys were with me at March 7th at the big event.
Yep.
That was this March 7th. That was right. COVID was just coming over the horizon.
Dude, Sardine City over there.
Yeah,
bro.
and we were over there shaking everybody's hand. Now, I had hand sanitizer. We were hand sanitizing constantly, but still, people are breathing on you, slobbering all over your pictures and stuff like that. It makes you wonder. Now, I heard that some conventions are going to have glass panels over the table with a slot, like a mail slot.
How would that, like...
What, like going to a bank teller?
Yeah, like, dude, really.
Dude, just
like, why would you waste your time?
How are you going to take a picture with a glass booth?
No, it's terrible.
You know, where are you going to get the... I mean, most of our pictures are people coming with selfies and me going, you know?
Yeah,
that's what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's a monkey wrench in the plans, you know what I'm saying? So
I want you to talk about, you know, some of your merchandise. Where can people get Andrew Anderson merchandise? You know. Oh yeah, they can get ProWrestlingTees.com. Andrew Anderson, the Reinforcer Andrew Anderson, at ProWrestlingTees.com. They can also go to. You have the new site. Yep.
We'll be having it up there. So for a new T-shirt site.
I'll be popping that up in a minute.
Yeah, you got it on there. I just signed the deal with somebody else to do some more another brand of T-shirts. So. So
that's a Corey Hilgden Double Hell T-shirts?
Double Hell T-shirts, yeah.
Excellent.
Double Hell T-shirts. So,
and you can get Andrew Anderson's T-shirts on www.montyandthepharaoh.com.
Yep.
Which will take you to Pro Wrestling Tees. And
Nice.
I love the shirt.
Yep.
I love the shirt. Are you
classic.
selling DVDs, anything like that?
8x10s, T-shirts, magnets, stickers, hats are coming out soon. The good thing with ProWrestlingTees.com is that you can get your T-shirt, you get your Andrew Anderson T-shirt, any size, color. You can get it in a tank top, a hoodie, whatever you want. Kid sizes of all types of kid sizes, girls T-shirts, whatever you need. So that's the one benefit of doing that. Just go to ProWrestlingTees.com. You can hit off Monty and the Pharaoh's website.
Yep.
Or you can go right on my Facebook fan page, Andrew the Reinforcer Anderson, or you can go at Drew the Wrestler on Twitter, or Andrew the Reinforcer on Instagram, and you can get hit my websites off there. So
one thing I noticed too, which I did not know, you used to don a mask.
Yes.
Kind of liked it.
Yep.
I kind of liked it.
He used to wrestle as the Masked Superstar.
Love it.
He used to wrestle as the Masked Superstar. But the funny part was, a promoter, I don't know if you guys remember this, a long time ago, promoter from New Jersey, NWA New Jersey, Dennis Corluzzo. Dennis Corluzzo came up to me one time and said to me, he goes, I got an idea. I want you to do this. I want you to do it. Drew, I want you to wear a mask. I was like, well, what am I going to do? You're going to be the Masked Superstar. I said, what? Bill would kill me. Oh, no, trust me, Bill gave me the gimmick. Well, Bill didn't give him the gimmick. So Billy's booked as Demolition Axe on the show. I'm booked as the Masked Superstar. I put the gimmick on.
This is not good.
Bill, first thing I did was before I even put the gimmick on, I went over to Bill. I said, Bill, they got me working as the Masked Superstar. Drew, I think it's great. You look the part. Do it. Bill was so gracious and so nice about it. And so then a couple times I wrestled. It was on the marquee, the Masked Superstar teaming with Demolition Axe, or the Masked Superstar versus Demolition Axe. It was pretty funny, people seeing that. So, and he'd be like, his Demolition Axe, I told you that was never me, But it was pretty funny. It was pretty cool. It was something I used to do on the side as the Masked Superstar. Yeah,
I'm a little jealous. That
was really cool.
I think that's so cool.
And the best part about it was that I would have to wrestle like Bill Eadie. So I would get the guy in the corner, do the double axe.
Nice.
I'd do the flying clothesline off the top.
Were you
rope
wearing
as
the one-strapped
the
singlet
one-strap
too?
singlet,
Oh,
yep,
awesome.
with the stars on it. I had the silver mask with the black stars. I had the black mask with the white stars. I had the glittery red mask with the black stars on it. And,
Did you gargle with nails to get the effective vocal?
Yeah, right, to get the Bill Eadie voice.
Dude, I think they should get rid of question mark and make you the new question mark.
Oh, the question mark is awesome.
Nah,
From
you would
Monrovia.
you'd be a better question mark. You'd be much
Just have
better.
them come in and trash question mark. That would be
All right, well, show number 2 is in the books. Luke, what do you thought about show number 2, my friend?
I think we worked out those kinks.
I am not your father.
I am not your father. Let's hear your
job,
Darth
bro.
Vader
Good
there,
job.
Andrew.
Luke, I am not your father. I can't do Darth Vader.
By the way, Luke's like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, look, he does know.
I can do, hey, Luke, I'm not your fucking father.
Pharaoh, any parting shots of Mr. Andrew
Yeah, I
Anderson?
would basically like to say, look, we've been doing this a couple of years now, and thank you for coming on the show.
I always have a blast.
Thank you for being one of the realest people we've
Yes.
come across.
Yes.
Thank you for being a good friend to the show. I really appreciate
I
it.
love it. You guys help keep me on the map in my old age.
We love you. We love you more.
So
We love
good
you
time.
more,
Hopefully,
Andrew.
we'll do stuff in the future coming up.
Oh, we
sir.
will. I
So-
I see a bright future. I see the worm turning. Right.
The worm. Did you look in Jimmy's shorts again?
That's a cobra. That's not.
Oh, hello.
That's a rattlesnake.
Lord.
All right. Anyway,
Holy
you've been
tooth
watching
snake,
Long
Batman.
Island's #1 pro wrestling
From the new
broadcast.
studio,
Monte
indie
and the
music.
Pharaoh can be seen on YouTube, Facebook Live on the Monte the Pharaoh page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Channel 115 every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 p.m. And I got this right for early risers on Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6:30
Yes,
on
yes.
Channel 115. And catch us on our network, RTF Sports, every Friday, which you'll be on this Friday, from 6 to 7 drive time, and there's some big things coming ahead. We want to thank Indie Music Television. We want to thank our producer, Luke. I want to thank the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh.
Oh, you're welcome, Mikey.
And most importantly, Andrew, you being the first show, the first live guest on our show is our honor. We are humbled.
Thank you.
You are a true gentleman. I hold you deep in my heart. and I think you're one fantastic human
Love
being.
you guys, man.
We love you
God for
more.
social distancing. I'm getting sick.
All right, so we'll see you next week on Thursday, 9 till 10
look,
p.m.
I got my mask
There we
already.
go.
Got the mask right on. I'm about to put it on too, but I got rid of the
my mask
gloves.
is all ready. Hold on.
Anyway,
It goes on this way.
and I want to thank the fans out there who support us. Without you guys, we would not be where we are today. So this is Mike Monty.
This is the Pharaoh. Until next week, later.